All right, I think we're good. All right, guys, in this video, I'm gonna show you guys a few different ways that I like to rig the drop shot, a few different baits that I love to use, man, some of my go-to baits, as well as a few mistakes that I see and some things that are causing you guys to lose fish on drop shot. I want you guys to be successful out there when you get out in the water, whether it be winter drop shot, pre-spawn, post-spawn, summertime, it doesn't matter. This will help you guys year round to catch more bass using a drop shot. If you don't have confidence in the rig, or possibly never even caught a bass with it. In this video, I'm gonna explain everything you guys need to know. But first, I do want to go over what's causing you guys to actually lose fish on a drop shot. So half the time, the hook size is far too big or absolutely too small. So the hook I like to use is a weedless 2/0 drop shot hook, okay? Has a wide gap as well, okay? So 2/0 wide gap drop shot hook. A lot of people may stray away from the weedless. They think it gets in the way of the hook set. It does not, okay? If you got a little bit of bicep and a little bit of willpower, you can set that hook, right? And that hook that I normally use, like I said, is by Gamakatsu. Like I said, it's a 2/0 wide gap hook. Been using it for years, has done me just fine. Some people also like the 1/0 hook or size 1 or size number 2. Again, I like the wide gap, gives me a little bit more space to actually get a hook set in them, especially if you're dealing with bigger fish. I like to have just a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? I guess that doesn't make any sense because it's not really a word in a dictionary. I like to have a little bit more hook availability to get a good hook set in the top of the, roof of the mouth. And not have to worry about skin hooking with a little baby hook or anything like that. And of course, not using too big of a hook where it defeats the purpose of even being finesse and using the drop shot. So another thing I see is when people rig the drop shot, the hook is actually facing downward. When I say downward, this is the correct way. If the rod tip is up above, when you set that hook, pulling the pressure towards the rod tip, the hook actually comes up into the fish's mouth, versus, like I said, people who might make the mistake of having it rigged downward, and you hook your bait on like you're supposed to, and it does not get a good hook set properly. Want your hook facing up, and a cool little trick with that, the line that you actually tie down to your weight, or down to your drop shot weight, that little one down there, take that, stick it through the eye of the hook, right? Stick it through the eye of the hook. And if you rigged it up and it's sitting upside down, stick that little line through the eye of the hook and it'll flip that hook right side up the correct way. Another reason why some guys might be struggling with the good old spinning setup, man, the drop shot, they actually got a little too much backbone, man. Yes, you can get a nice 7'2", 7'3" medium heavy, but sometimes those medium heavies run heavy, right? You get excited, man, you got a fish catch and you reel back in that thing and you got way too much backbone, okay, on that rod itself. Get you something that had like a medium power rod that has a lot more give to it. This is a finesse setup, okay? Right. There's only one application that I actually run a medium heavy, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. But normally I'm running about a medium power, 7'2", medium power, fast tip. Or fast action rod setup. And your reel size is normally like a 2500 series. I'm usually running maybe 10 to 15 pound braid with 10 to 12 pound fluorocarbon leader. That leader length itself, I'm actually usually running about 15 foot worth of leader. That gives me just a little bit down inside the actual spool itself, but that's just how I like to run it. And lastly, one of the most common ways that I see guys rigging this thing and possibly not catching the amount of fish that you would like to do it on a drop shot is actually your hook to weight length away from each other. This right now is about a 10-inch situation, maybe 12-inch situation like that. I'm in the winter time. Next time I go out, I'm probably going to drop this down to about 8 inches away, 6 to 8 inches away. A lot of time you'll find bass, especially if you get a chance to actually have graphs on your boat or something like that, you can graph around. You'll find fish hugging the bottom. This can apply to anybody, kayak, from the bank, it doesn't matter. Get your length from your hook down to your weight. Shorten that up in this colder months, okay? Once the water temps start warming up, you got a lot more vegetation you might be dealing with, then sure, go ahead and run like a 15-inch distance from hook to weight, 15 to 18-inch distance from hook to weight. That'll keep that bait up above the grass at times, off the bottom at times, to get you guys a couple more bites. All right, so I pretty much just ran you guys exactly through what I like as far as like my normal go-to setup. All right, again, 7'2", medium power, fast tip rod or fast action rod with a 2500 series reel, 10 to 15 pound braid, do you just fine, as well as a 15-foot leader, 10 to 12 pound fluorocarbon leader. That is number one main setup for me. Number two, a lot of guys don't necessarily run this, but it's a killer, man. Don't Don't sleep on it, all right? My number 2 setup is actually more of a heavy duty application, right? When I say heavy duty, I don't know if you guys see what I got on here. This is like a 15-pound line, 3/0 EWG hook here. And I'll tell you about that bait in just a half a second. But this is more of my heavy duty setup. When I say heavy duty, as soon as we start getting to the warmer months, man, you're starting to fish around vegetation more. You're starting to fish around trees, things like that more. And you decide to bring out the drop shot, try and put that bait just a little bit more cover, something that has the backbone and and line strength as well, to get those fish out of certain types of cover. This is the setup you want. So the rod here is a 7'2" medium heavy power loose carbon fire, medium heavy power, fast tip, fast action rod, and can actually handle 8 to 30-pound line. Okay, again, got a little bit more backbone with this, but I'm running 15-pound fluorocarbon leader. Again, about a 15-foot length altogether. And the hook itself, usually using a polymer knot up top, running about a 3/0 hook right there. And I'll get to my baits in just a half a second, but I did want to give you guys a second lineup. Again, I have both these tied on the boat pretty much all year long. I may not throw it as much in the winter, but guess what? It's still tied on just in case you get, come near a brush pile, something like that. Got a couple fish around it. This is what I want to have with me. So now some of the baits that I like, man, I'm gonna just go ahead and get you guys started off with this one right here. This right here is a 6 cents Busa shaky worm. I always like to put a little chartreuse on the tip right there. It's a 6.5-inch bait, man. Love the action on it. It has all the ribs features with it, which gives you a lot different water displacement. If you guys get a little bit further into bass fishing, man, you learn about water displacement, man. But it gives something a little different than just your typical worm. Everything I mentioned here, I'll leave it linked down below so you guys can check it out, just in case you guys understand what I say sometimes and I talk kind of fast. My apologies, but it's all love, all right? All right, so another bait that I like to run, well, if I can find it. So another one that I like to run, just found it just now. These ones right here. Can you guys see that? So it's by Yum. It's called the forward-facing sonar minnow, but guess what? This mimics a minnow so well that you throw it on a little drop shot, get that thing down to where the fish are at, you're gonna find you some more bass, man. Yeah, but I love the profile. You see like I'm barely moving it and how much action that tail has. All right, you put that on a drop shot, nose hook it on a drop shot, that thing's gonna get 8, man. And look, man, hey, I'm getting these like straight out the boat, okay? This is not something that I got like sitting on the shelf or something like that. This is my other one that I really enjoy. It's by Megabass, Haze Dong Shad, 3-inch. Again, another little baby minnow style bait, but it absolutely gets 8 down there. So if you're on a tough day, a high pressure day, if you got a super pressure lake or a reservoir, river, whatever case may be, a super pressure pond, downsize your baits, man, to a little minnow size, things like that, man. And even if you're like in a post front condition, it doesn't matter. As soon as you downsize the baits, man, get a lot more lifelike presentation. But again, post front situations, man, tough days in the water, I grab a drop shot. I hate Ned rig. No, that's fine. But I grab a drop shot to get me through on some of these tough days, tough scenarios. Hope you guys learned something, man. If you did, give me a thumbs up for the video. It helps out the YouTube algorithm. I'll see you guys next time on Next Tackle Tuesday. Y'all take care. We out.